You ever notice how the effort in a relationship feels, well, electric at the beginning? But then, over time, it changes. And look, that's not always a bad thing, but it can be really confusing. So today we're going to get into that whole evolution of effort, how it starts, how it shifts, and most importantly, how to tell the difference between a love that's maturing and one that's just fading out.
Just think back for a second to the very start of a relationship. There's this undeniable energy, isn't there? It's all excitement and pure possibility. Everything feels brand new. And in that newness, there's this tangible kind of magic.
And at the beginning, that effort isn't subtle at all. No, it's loud, it makes its presence known. It's the total opposite of quiet or just assumed. It is front and center.
Okay, so this brings us to that first phase, effort at the start. This is that amazing period where effort doesn't even feel like work. It just feels natural, instinctive. It just flows.
And you know exactly what this looks like. These early signs are so tangible. We're talking about concrete actions. They're texting you first. They're planning dates, days, even weeks ahead. Staying up way too late just to talk on the phone. Schedules get rearranged. Sleep is sacrificed. It's just this constant, active offering of their time and attention.
And the results of all that action? It's incredibly powerful. It's not really about hearing the words, "I choose you." It's about feeling chosen in everything they do. Every single action is like a giant arrow pointing right at you, leaving absolutely no room for doubt. You know, the mindset here is just so key. Staying up late isn't a sacrifice, it's an adventure. Changing plans isn't a drag, it's an investment in something you're genuinely excited about. You think you're seeing who they are, but what you're really seeing is who they are when a relationship is brand new.
But we all know that initial intensity, well, it can't last forever, can it? And that brings us to the next phase, the confusing middle. This is where those clear, bright lines of effort start to get a little blurry.
This timeline shows a really natural progression, right? The urgency and excitement from the beginning, it eventually gives way to the realities of life. Work gets stressful, routines kick in, and that high-energy state gets replaced by a sense of comfort. And this is where things can get complicated.
And all of a sudden, the language changes. Those definite plans become these vague possibilities. We'll see. Maybe. Let's play it by ear. You go from concrete commitment to this non-committal ambiguity. And honestly, it can feel really unsettling.
And this is the moment, right here. This is where that perfect, easy balance from the beginning starts to tip. It might be subtle at first, but it's a shift you can feel deep down, even if you can't quite put your finger on what it is yet.
So what happens when we feel that imbalance? Well, a lot of us fall right into the compensation trap. You start texting first more often, you find yourself kind of explaining why you want to see them, you wait longer for replies, and you start making excuses for them, right? Oh, they're just super busy with work. It's a really dangerous cycle.
So this brings us to the most critical question of all. How do we tell the difference? Is this a natural, healthy evolution of effort, or is it a decline? Getting this right is absolutely everything. So healthy, mature effort, it isn't about the flashy performance of the beginning. It's about presence. It's quieter, for sure, but it's also incredibly consistent and, most importantly, intentional. It's not loud anymore, but it's steady.
This comparison is just so key. On one side, you've got mature effort. It's built on reliability and consistency. It's about genuine presence and consideration. But on the other side, declining effort is all about convenience and reaction. It's about appeasement that's usually driven by a fear of losing you. The biggest difference here is the motive.
And let's be really, really clear about this one. If the effort only kicks back in when you're at your breaking point, when you're threatening to walk away, that is not a sign of mature, evolving love. That's a reaction. It's driven by the fear of loss, and that is not sustainable.
So, with all this confusion, how do you actually find some clarity? How do you figure out where your relationship really stands? Well, it all comes down to asking yourself the right question.
See, we often get stuck asking the wrong question, like, are they trying as hard as they used to? But comparing now to the very beginning, that's just an impossible standard. The real question, the one that actually gives you clarity, is so much more insightful.
This is it. This is the question that matters. It's not, do they still love me? It's not even, are they still trying? It is simply, do I feel considered? Do my well-being, my time, my feelings, do they actually factor into their decisions even when I'm not standing right there? So what does being considered actually mean? Well, it means they think about how their actions are going to affect you. It means they actively protect the relationship itself. They don't just enjoy the perks. And it means they are still making an intentional, conscious choice to be with you day after day.
And that right there is the fundamental shift. Early effort is all about impressing you. It's about winning a prize. Mature effort is about choosing you, cherishing your partner day in and day out, long after that initial chase is over.
And this is such a vital warning. It is so easy to settle into a routine and tell yourself, oh, this is just comfort. This is what long-term love feels like. But there is a razor-thin line between that comfortable security and unintentional neglect. And if you're feeling this way, please know that what you want is valid. You're not being unreasonable, and you're not asking to rewind time back to the honeymoon phase. You are simply asking for presence, for that consistent, intentional effort that says, I'm still here and I'm still choosing you.
Let's just end on this thought. True effort doesn't just disappear. It evolves. It learns how to show up in quieter, more consistent ways. And you absolutely deserve someone who never stops choosing you, especially when it's no longer new. That is the true evolution of effort.